Hello everybody, Sandeep here again, founder and MD of Econstruct Design and Build Private Limited. In this particular webinar session, we are going to study a lot many things. So please stay tuned till the last moment of this particular video. In this webinar, we will study the grid lines, which are very important for any particular project. We will show, I'll be giving you a lot of information about the live projects, how basically the planning, the architectural planning, the structural planning, specifically the load path, and certain steel structures as well. So you will be getting a lot of information. So stay tight and make sure that you will have a lot of takeaways through this particular webinar. Now, those who are new, I wanted to tell you that this is the third webinar which we are conducting under the 12W12M. 12W12M is 12W means the 12 webinars in 12 months that we are conducting. Those who are very new joining, please make sure that your college or the university placement coordinator and all, they talk to our WhatsApp numbers, and we'll create the groups, and we'll try to give you the previous missed webinars also, so you don't need to bother about the previous webinars. Now, in this particular webinar, what we are going to study and what you have missed in the last webinars. Yeah, you will be watching those videos, but I just wanted to give you just 2 to 3 minutes glimpse about those things. The first webinar which we have conducted was about the awareness about the civil engineering industry. So what is awareness is means, actually this is not the awareness of the technicalities only, it is basically where you can acquire the corporate sector jobs. So entire episode of 12W12M is basically for you to get the industry awareness, industrial projects, and where exactly what kind of the opportunities that you guys will be having after you pass out from the colleges and all. Right, so what are basically the awareness that we have spreaded during the first event is what basically the sectorial jobs, what we have divided into different parts, different segments. Basically different segments means what are the sectorial jobs are there. Let's say for example, here it is a public sector. Okay, so BHEL, BHEL, BPCL, CIL, GAIL, which is GIL, Gas Authority of India, Steel Authority of India. These are basically the PSU public sector, corporates. All right, so you will be getting many these kind of corporates or the public sector units. They will be recruiting the civil engineers. So please stay tuned, actually, and just go to their websites and see that what all the vacancies or those kind of things are available in those areas. All right. So apart from this, what are the other sectors? The government sectors are there: PWD, CPWD, railways. Only 3 I mentioned, but there are so many, like MADA is there, or CWPRS, and DRDO, ISRO, like that. Many the government sectors are there, right? So you can go through that and check that what all the opportunities that are available over there. The another opportunity, we call it as actually for the Indian local companies. These are NCC, TCE, or NCC is Nagarjuna Construction, TCE basically is the Tata Consultancy Engineers, ESAR, Shapurji Palanji, HCC, FCons. You can pause the video and you can just list down this, and you can go to their websites and see that what kind of job opportunities that you will be getting under this particular company. Yeah, one of the company I have not given here, L&T, because it's very popular, so I need not be writing here to make a big list. Certain international companies are also going, like if somebody is wanting to go or settle in abroad, or those kind of job profiles, so this is a company for you. So these are the companies basically. So what are the names? FCons, ACOM, Jacobs, Ramboll, Mac McDonald, not the Burger McDonald, it's a Mac McDonald, it's a different company. Gammon India, Atkins, many companies are there. I'll just you can pause the video, or you can just look into this and try to see that which companies that you can apply for the jobs. All right, so apart from this, what are the other sectors or the building sectors? So let's say for example, if you are into the particular building sector. Building means the construction and all. So let's say you will be there in the residential buildings, commercial buildings, infrastructure buildings, where railways and other things will be there. So this is one of the sector that you can apply. Another sector is basically, you can see that over here, what we call it as these are the subject-based avenues. What is subject-based avenues? So let's say some of you guys might be very good into, let's say, geotechnical engineering, or maybe surveying, structural engineering, project management, BIM technology, town planning, detailing, estimation costing. So certain subjects, if you are having very good acumen and you really want to make a career in that particular line, that opportunity, those kind of opportunities are also available. All right. So this is basically the subject-based avenues. Few other things I wanted to tell you is the skill-based avenues. Now, certain companies, what we call it as, in the previously, the subject-based avenues means, of course, you required a lot of knowledge in that specific areas, and you will be called as the let's say, for example, geotechnical engineering. So the people wherever there is a problem of settlements, or maybe in the earthen dams and those areas, actually they will call you, and that's how the avenues or that kind of remuneration that you guys can enjoy with. But that kind of knowledge definitely you require in those kind of areas. Another expectation from the industry is the skill-based avenues. All right. So skill-based avenues is like, it's a common thing for all the avenues that we have seen just now. What does that mean? So soft skills like public speaking, communication, coordination, team building, and many other things. I've given the list over here. You can pause the video and you can go through that. Somebody will say that, sir, why I need a cooking skill? So come on, be real. If you are there in one of the company, let's say L&T, and the project is somewhere dam structures, or maybe the highway structure, it might be there in the middle of the desert, or maybe in the middle of the jungle, and where the the food habits which you are familiar with may not be available. So what you will do? You will change the job because of just the food. All right. So learning this is definitely going to help you out. All right. So these are not definitely, certain things might not be mandatorily required or compulsorily required for you, but those will add the charisma to your personality to have that job profile. All right. So these are basically the skill-based avenues. All right. A few other things which we have seen during the last time. What are the sectors are there? Public speak. I mean, we have seen already this, but let's say industry-based real estate is one of the industry, very big industry, in which it's not only the buying and selling of the flats or plots or something like that. I'm talking about the maintenance. When I was there in Dubai, there were very big companies which were there into the real estate industry. They were purchasing the entire buildings and hotels and all, like I think Oyo and certain other companies are also, they have started there in India. So obviously, once they are owner of the property, they need to maintain it. So their structural audits and other types of audits are also very important. So real estate industry contracts, government contracts, international contracts like global tenders and other things. Interior is one of the industry where hotel industry, hotel interiors is there. Hospital interiors, you can go to the Navy where the ships interiors, the aircraft interiors, many interior the jobs would be available. So these kind of avenues that we have seen during the last time. Another thing is the software based avenue. Now, what are the software based? Like somebody says that do you know this software, because we got a requirement in this particular software, so they will call you. Okay, so what we call it as the software based avenue. All right, software based means let's say ETABS, Stat Pro. I mean, some people will ask you that which particular line that you want to go. So let's say Revit, these are the software lines, software number, I mean the names. You can just note down these softwares and try to get a mastery on those software if you really want to go to the BIM technology. If you are there into structures, these are the softwares that you should know. You if you are knowing, it will help you out. Geotechnical engineering, if you want to make a career, these are the softwares. Even in the transportation engineering and all, or transportation sector, these are the softwares that you require, okay, to understand or to know. So there would be certain type of avenues or the jobs in which you will see the profile, that what are the requirements of the jobs. Certain this some of these softwares would be also mentioned in that. So whenever you are planning a career, you really need to know that what kind of skills that you require, what kind of companies that are there in the industry, what kind of the softwares that you need to learn, and where you need to head. Right from the second, third year engineering, actually you can create certain plan and make yourself versatile for those kind of job opportunities. Yes, yeah. So that's what we have seen during last time. If you really find it interesting, you can see those videos also, and you can get a lot of benefit of those kind of areas also. All right. So in the month of October, what we have seen is whenever any project starts, okay, we have seen the avenues in the first month. In the second month, we have started the project. So whenever any particular project is starting, you require a lot of information, and the different phases are there. None of the projects, if you say boom, it will not be just popping in front of you guys. No, it will not happen like that. So it requires a rigorous planning. What kind of planning? Architectural plan, structural plan, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, all the planning. HVAC, AC, electrical, and all. How much AC units are required, or what kind of, the Vastu related compliances. Many things are there when it comes to the architectural things. Architectural, also the structure, where the columns will be there, the beams will be there, the shear walls will be there, the slabs will be there, cutout will be there, the outriggers will be there. Whether it is a flat slab, whether it is a beams, what kind of systems that you are going to go for, whether it is a shear wall system, dual system, so all this. So we require a particular planning, whether you are there in the architectural, whether you are into the structural, MEP, anywhere. Right. So what we call it as the building plans. I mean, the first phase we call it as the architectural, structural, or the central and plans. So this kind of plans will be there. Then structural and superimposing plans means the architectural. Let's say, for example, I'm having a driveway here in the drawing actually, but structural engineer has given the shear wall there or the column there, so the car cannot go. So the architectural and structural we superimpose with each other, and we look into the drawing so that both the things should not conflict. They should work together as a team. Right, like a cricket, batting and bowling and fielding should work together. They should not be rivals with each other, right? So like that actually. Otherwise, somebody is putting the catch actually, and I hate that bowler actually, I'll leave the catch. That doesn't work in the game of cricket, right? So similarly in the industry also, when the architect is working along with you, you need to work together actually to make sure that the project stands and it holds properly. Okay, as a team you need to start working with this. So structural and the superimposing plan is what actually you'll be doing. Another overall planning section, there will be sessions of the corrections of the plan. There will be, I need a cutout here, I need a column here, I need to know certain things. So based on that, actually do certain corrections between both the plans so that they will work properly with each other, not against each other. All right. So after you do that, then the mathematical model is what actually you need to create. We have also seen certain the live project examples, like one of the project which I have shown you over here. You can see that where the columns are there, beams are there, the grid lines and all. Actually, you can see the shear walls. This is the lift and all actually. All right. So let's say this is the column or the shear wall where the beams has to be simply supported, cantilever, continuous and all. Actually, how basically you are going to do the planning. If you are taking the columns, you should see not only that particular floor but the other floor, so that it should not conflict the architectural purpose. At the same time, it should not be creating the irregularity in the structure. So we've seen so many of this, and I hope you might have liked this particular section. If you really liked it, and if you have not watched it, please watch the previous videos. Right now, coming to the session, which is the today's session, which is the November month. So what is this? This is basically the grid system. Whenever architectural people, actually the consultants, they will plan it out certain things. They need to plan it in the particular grid wise, or you need to work along with the grid wise, because the force works with the straight line. I mean, let's say gravity is coming down from the air. It doesn't go in the zigzag location. Okay, where are you? Actually, I need to, if a drop of the rain is there, actually I need to fall only on you. That doesn't happen. With the gravity, it just falls down, the straight line. Alright, so similarly, the beams, columns, the grid lines, actually it has to be there in one straight line. Otherwise, the beam cannot go like this, like take left turn, right turn, again you take a U-turn and then go straight. And that kind of beam doesn't work like that, because it's not just the beam, it is a load that is carrying the beam and transferring to the base. Alright, so necessarily we need to work with the grid lines. So what is grid system? What is this actually? So you can see that there are basically 3 grid systems are there. Okay, I mean not only 3, there are so many, but to begin with, I'll just start with only 3 systems. One is floor grid, another one is, I'll just put certain different pane here. Okay, so one is basically the floor grid, plane frame system, and the space frame system. So what is floor grid, what is plane frame and space frame? I think you might have, by knowing the floor grid means only in that particular floor what's really happening. All right, so where are the columns, where is the shear wall, what kind of things are there, that comes later part. But floor grid system, what does that mean? So I would like to show you one of the photograph which I have given it here. I'll show you some of the live projects also later on. So here you can see that grid number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be there here. At the same time, actually certain grids will be marked at this place also. So let's say this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Alright. So what happens is, whenever you are dealing with the grids, you know that it's a straight line you are dealing. Now this is basically the building face in this direction. What does that mean? So if you are observing this carefully, this is the building face. The straight line is basically the building face. So whenever a building, it has to be straight in that line, because there would be road or there may be access points or certain things. Actually the building face should not go like this as zigzag motion, right? So not necessarily the center of the columns will be same, but the building face need to be same. Let me repeat. May not be necessarily the center of the column would be same, because depending upon the loading and the different purposes, it might change, but the face of the column will be same. Alright, right? So not only one side, but all the sides you will see that, as well as you will see the center line of any particular grid. Let's say in this case, this is the center line or the grid line. So if I take the column somewhere here, then here, then here, then I may not be able to give the beams like this, right? It doesn't work like that. It might be working for architectural plan or something, but it doesn't work for structures, and in the MEP also it would be a problem. So it is very, very important for you to understand the importance of the grid lines. Specifically the architects, engineers and all, actually they really need to work upon it. So look at this. Sometimes the grids will be there in a particular fashion. There would be same equation. Basically the equation line is also equation. So you can see that if, for example, if I'm drawing something like this and the building shape is something like this, so this line is also having some kind of equation. All right, so there is another line like this. Let's say it is a lotus shape building, so the grid line will go along with this. So I hope you are getting what I'm saying. All right, so it is having a specific pattern of moving along. All right, so that's what actually the grid system works, so that it will be easy on the side for erection, for construction, for fabrication, for for making the drawings also, making it understanding of the reality on the site also, many things, right? To avoid the mistakes also on the site, it really helps you. All right, so how does it work actually? So let me give you a piece of advice that in the real-time project, how does it really matter and it really helps you out in doing that. So let's take a small project. So let's say, for example, this is the plot that your father is having and he's asking you that, beta 4 साल मैंने आपको पढ़ाया, please एक shed design करके दे दो. A simple shed, a shed for some rental purpose, or some people will be coming there selling the vegetables, or maybe you are doing certain carpentry work, or maybe you are renting it out to somebody, something like that. The simple shed. How do you start? Oops, that kind of problems would be there. So whenever I would like to tell you that whenever you are having a big problem, always remember this, okay? If you are having a big problem, try to see that how you can, avoid it or divide it into the small problems. So you are taking just a small area so that you can work efficiently and you can crack it down confidently, right? So same thing we'll do it here. And this particular plan, what you are going to do, it's a shed. Shed means you require some usable space here. So let's start modeling something. Let's say, for example, you are having the shade like this. I'll just put a little darker shade of the, yeah. So let's say you are having something like this and you need to give a shed here. This is the shed. You will be having, let's say, the pin support here, and you require some usable space. So what you need is, you need to ask your father, who is your client now, that how much is the height do you need? A ridge height and the end height. How much do you need it? So depending upon the usage, there might be a granite factory inside that they are cutting the granite, polishing, it, making it for sale. So there might be different reasons actually. You really need to do that. Okay, so depending upon that, you need to come up with the height. First of all, the dimension. So this is basically how much is this, how much is the height here, and how much is the total height here. Plus, what is the size of the plot, where exactly you can have the columns here. All right. So a big problem, we need to, with the grid system, you need to divide it and create, make it a smallest version of the problem so that you can crack it out. And small problems, if you crack it, a big problem, the solving the project will be, will be easier for you. So let's say this is one particular portal frame that you are dealing with, and similarly like this only you will create, certain frames here also. So this is, let's say, one frame. This is another frame. This is one more. Maybe this is one more. So this plot is divided into, let's say, these many frames now. Now, how do you basically you are going to model it, or you are going to analyze it, or you are going to come with the certain solutions. So let's say over here, since this is the line, I would take that as a ridge line here. So I'll take a ridge line, which is the the top corner, this kind of line. And of course we require a certain at the end also we require the frames. So this is one frame, and this is also the another frame. Now each, that darker line, the red line, is having something like this. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So let's say, for example, this one is portal frame 1. What is this? PF is portal frame 1. So we'll have the PF1 here, portal frame 1. We'll also have the portal frame 1 here. Understood? Now why I have written that? And this one will be portal frame 2, portal frame 2, portal frame 2, portal frame 2. Well, let's take some dimensions. So let's say, for example, this is 20 meters. And we'll just take this one as the 10 meters. So let's say this is 10 meters. Let's say this is 50 meter by 20 meter is the plot. I mean the shed area of the covered area of the plot. So So you have divided that 50 meter by 20 meter. This is 20 meter here, and this full is, let's say for example, 50 meters. You have divided into different frames with the grids. So these frames are nothing but the grids, which we call it as the grid line. So I'll give the grid line, let's say for example, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are nothing but the grid lines. Why this is grid line actually? Because it's easy. The second grid, what is the issue? Did you get the nut bolts? Have you erected there right on the side? So it's easy for the coordination also with the side. So it is basically for that. So if you take the PF2, so PF2 will be like, there are 4 PF2, total frames 2 actually. Some of you might be wondering that why I have not given all the portal frames as one frame only, because the geometry will be same. The geometry will be same, but the loading will not be same. Let me tell you something. Loading means, the one-way slab that we have found out, this will have the load only from this particular area. The covered area will be half of this. The one-way slab you might be knowing. Half load will go to that beam, half load will go to this beam. Similarly, half load of this will go to this beam, this frame, half load will be going to another frame. Similarly, over here also it is half and half. Now, if I take some, I'll just take some another color. Whereas, if you see this portal frame, it will have half of this thing from here, also half of this thing from here. The load will be total. So if you take this PF2, the same case will be there in all the cases because the distances are same. Alright, so that's the reason from the loading, from the geometry point of view, all the frames in intermediate frames are same. If the distances are different, yes, you need to add PF3 also in between because the distances are different. Alright, so this is how actually we'll define the grids. Now, is it 6 grids are only enough? No, you require another grid also. So let's say that also. So let's say I'll put this as grid A and I'll put this as grid B. So A and B grid will be vertical and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grids are there in the horizontal grids. Alright, so I have divided into these grid lines to make everybody understand and we are all there on the same page. Okay, so importance of the grids along with the project statement I'm trying to tell you. So along with this, so let's say for example, if you know like this actually, now I have understood something that okay, well, there is a little complexity. Now let me tell you a few things. So let's say what is the height? You take let's say 6 meter height here and 9 meter height here. That is the requirement. So is it the only one possible way that you can go ahead with the 20 meter? No. What are the different possibilities are there, or what are the different compositions are there? How basically you are going to deal with all this? So I'll just copy this, paste this over here, also paste this over here. I'm just saving my time a little bit. So what are these? What am I going mad in copying this unnecessarily? No, these are basically, we call it as the systems or schemes. You can note it down if you want. What is this called as? Schemes. Oops. So whenever you are dealing with the scheme, actually, how basically you are going to, deal with this. Just a minute, I think there is some problem with this software. Yeah. Schemes. Schemes means what? Scheme 1, scheme 2, scheme 3, scheme. We don't know which one scheme is suitable for your father. Okay. And what is the criteria for that? Which one will be suitable? Okay, there are various criteria. Let's get into it a little later on. Let's talk about schemes first. So let's say scheme 1. These are basically the scheme. I'll just put this as a schemes. Now this one will be the scheme number 1. Okay, so this is just like this. Let it be like that. Scheme number 2. I'll just put it in a different color so that scheme number 2, how it is, it will be something like this. Right, scheme number 2 is something like this. Scheme number 3. Let's say I'll take this as interest. Scheme number 3. Now what is scheme number 4? Instead of having the circle like this, what I'll do is this is scheme number 4. Alright, scheme number 5. So let's say I'll just scheme number 5, I'll do it. Alright, now scheme number 6. Now in the scheme number 6, what I'll do is, if the span is quite big enough, I'll put this as an interest, and I will also have the cross bracings. Okay, and also here it is a truss arrangement. Because I am identifying that the span 20 meters, not the 20 feet, it's 20 meters, around approximately 70 feet. So that is huge distance. So you might require this kind of truss arrangement. Alright, so this is scheme number 6. I do not know honestly which scheme is good enough for this project. For that, what we call it as, we need to analyze, and what is the criteria basically that your father or you yourself or an architect or the finance people, the bank or some people, they will come with the solution that okay, you go ahead with this. The criteria is there is no compromise on the strength, there is no compromise for the serviceability. This should be the first criteria. Strength and the serviceability, or you can take both the criteria. One is strength, it should be strong enough to withstand all the possible loads, dead load, live load, wind load, all the majorly these 3 loads will be there. Earthquake load, some people will say, but in the sheds I don't think it will be that effective. Serviceability means it should complete that tenure. Otherwise, you are whatever you are investing, you are not getting. Imagine that you got an iPhone with you and next day it started burning. You will say it is a waste of money, right? It doesn't happen that way, because the Apple company or certain companies, they put a lot of engineering there to make sure that 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, till the time you get fed up with that that mobile phone, the mobile phone, it's still working. That's the engineering. Alright, so similarly, this particular structure, whenever you put a lot of money in the mobile phone, how much money you are putting? 10, 20,000, 50, 80,000, maybe 1 lakh maximum you take it. In this particular building, you need to put somewhere around crores. Alright, so be real in the designing and the serviceability, strength, and all the criteria. Now, what are the serviceability criteria? Is there, deflection is one criteria, damping is another criteria, acoustic is another criteria, temperature is another criteria. Many criteria. Serviceability means you should be having comfort in staying there. All right, all possible comfort. All right. So strength and serviceability. The third criteria is actually economy. Whether it is worth putting that much amount of money. First two criteria, all the criteria are mandatory, to be very honest. But the third criteria, economy, it varies between different consultants and different people. That's how actually you'll show the efficiency, that strength is also getting maintained, serviceability is also there, and it is, economy. What economy is actually, how many kg per square feet? That's the norm. Kg means what? Tonnage. You require steel to have this, all the trusses, and steel, that it's costlier than concrete. So how many kg per square foot? Square foot means 50 meter and this is 20 meter. You convert that into the feet, alright? And you try to find out that how many kg is required, tonnage is required to complete this project. And the cost of the steel by vendors. You can call the vendors and take the cost. Depending upon that, to whom you are going to allocate the consultancy work is what actually you are depending upon. Now, why only 6 numbers? Why not 10 grids? I'll put some another grids here, grid here, grid here, grid here. Small grids, so that it will be lighter, but number of grids will increase. Number of foundations will increase, number of stresses will increase. Okay, so it doesn't work that way. All right. And let's say I will reduce it. I don't want to have this. I don't want to have this. I don't want actually anything. But in that case, actually serviceability in the problem, it will have a deflection. There will be if you take this, you require purlins that to pass on through this. So the purlin will be very heavy purlin. All right. So obviously speaking, you definitely require these intermediate frames also. I'll draw the purlins for you. So let's say one purlin is here. You also require, for the serviceability and all actually, you also require the cross bracings. You might have seen that. Cross bracings in this direction also. Why 2? Why not 1? It depends upon the analysis, basically. Now, is it only PF1 and PF2 is needed? No. PF3 is also required. Where is PF3? Portal frame 3. Where is it? This will be constant. One, two, three, four, five, 6. So this is, your portal frame. This is, your portal frame. Where is this portal frame? I'll take a section along this. So everywhere there will be the column. This column. Let's say there is a column here. So this column is this column, like that. And whenever there is a cross bracing like this one here, so the same cross bracing will come here also, because it has to transfer the forces. And here also. So this is PF3, this is PF3. Understood? So this is also third grid or the third portal frame. Right? So how does it really, don't you think that it's really important to understand these grids? Alright? So in that case, you need to give the horizontal forces. In this particular force, whenever wind will not ask you or will not take your ticket to come, right? So wind will come either in this direction or in this direction. In this direction, if it is coming through the cross bracings, it will go and it will pass on to this, as a tension compression element, and it will go down. And in other directions, you have other directions means in this direction. Imagine that the wind is flowing in this direction. So let's say in this direction, wind is coming. So this particular element will be having sway action. It will resist. So how much sway it is allowed, permitted, depending upon IS 800, you need to find it out. So that's the analysis and design. Are you getting what I'm saying? So this is how you will move ahead. A big problem, you try to reduce it smaller, and you crack it down. In the colleges or in the universities and all, we have been trained to solve the small problems. So you require another vision. One vision is the macro vision. Another vision is the micro vision. What is the grade of the bolt? What is the the welding that you are doing? What is the thickness of the weld? What is the length of the weld? How to check the welding also, whether it is done properly or not. So these are very subtle micro level issues also you need to address, and every micro level, it becomes the macro level, the project, entire project. Alright, so always it is top to bottom generally, but we have been trained from bottom to top. So that's why all this mess, the problems are there. Top to bottom means first is the macro level. This is the project, and how do we solve this project? And we are only into, if this is the force, you try to find out the forces. So we are there into that mathematics only. So that's how the entire ball game we are missing. All right. So it is in this scheme, the third scheme. This is the four. These are the forces in this. This is the scheme. So which one is more better, accurate? You solve 20 schemes and you find out, oh my God, this is the best. That's how the judgment. Right, now let me give you a certain example. You might have seen this, some of you might in my videos. If you have not seen, please subscribe the channel. There are so many good videos are there for you, which we have recorded. I'm sure that you will get a valuable information. Now, let's say for example driving, okay, and you know that with the speed and the vehicle and the traction force of the vehicle and the truck or the car that you are driving, you can set up a lot of mathematics by using M1, M2, M3, M4, which are the subject that we have learned. Alright, so if you put the pedal like this, the car will go with this speed. If you put the brake like this, the car from this speed, it will come down, it will stop exactly at this point. Yeah, you got the answer. Wow. But can you drive a car with this example solved? You can't. If you solve 1 trillion examples and you are a university topper, can you still drive a car with this mathematics? Not possible, right? So what you require is sit in the car, and maybe a driver can actually work for you. That's what it is happening. You are a very good mathematician. Okay, you can solve so many examples, but you don't know how to drive a car. A car driver, start. Sir, कहाँ पे जाना है? चलो 10 मिनट लगेगा, 25 रुपए लगेगा. Like that. They do not know any mathematics, they do not know any engineering, they do not know any civil engineering, but they are still good into that. Why? Because it is basically what they are familiar with, the day-to-day problem solving mechanism. The schemes they are working, and which schemes fits into it, they know better. Okay, and there exactly we lack. Okay, so what we need to do is, any one particular project is there, try to identify 2-3 other problems and try to see at a macro level that whether it is fitting or whether it is working for you. Alright, so this is what actually we have seen this today. I'll show you certain live examples so that you can look into it. So let's say see this. This is a hotel building actually, which is one of the live project that is happening in Mumbai, which is there in planning stage actually. So you can see here what we have drawn is, this is not in one line. So can we make it in one line? It's easier for everybody to construction. The red color, this red color is basically the shear wall. This gray color is the column. This is the beam. This is again the column. So you can see that this is going in a zigzag direction. It's not going in the straight direction. So can we are just requesting actually over here that can we have it in one line so that it's easy for everybody to construct and fabricate or erect on the site. So like that, there would be certain discrepancies. You can see that there is a column, there is a driveway underneath in the 3D. So can we have this column? It's not possible. So can we have different scheme altogether? So what we call it is coordination. Understood? So this is how the real project scenario works. Okay, what we are dealing with only column design, 0.45 FCK into AC plus 0.67 FIST. Wow, you got a formula. Come on, be real. Okay, how many columns are there? What kind of things are happening in the real-time industry? You really need to work, understood, in that particular direction. So where and all, what kind of schemes are there and all, what kind of projects that we are dealing, where are the issues, staircase is not getting clear, where it will hit the headrooms. Alright, so all this actually is the coordination. If you remember, I told you architectural and structural coordination. So we require very important tools to learn. It's not only the coordination. I'll tell you, there is 7 dimensions are there in the BIM technology. People are knowing only Revit architecture, aa gaya, job de do. It doesn't happen that way. You require 2D, basically 2D planning. If the 2D is incorrect, 3D will be definitely incorrect. 2D, then 3D. After 3D, there is a 4D, 5D is basically the time and cost model. Understood? 4D, 5D simulations. Then 6D is the energy model. Alright? And the 7D is basically the maintenance model, the RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. It's there almost in all the many countries, many state capitals. They have put this. This is came from the central government. Right? RERA is basically to make sure that everything is happening properly. There is a regulation for that. Right? So, of course, that is necessary. All right. So this is how actually the live project works. Right. So I have shown you certain live project schemes, that how it works, what kind of, let's say for example over here also you can see that there is a column, inclined grids are there are columns here, there are columns, the shear walls are here, and in some certain cases we are facing certain problems. So how to coordinate that in a very, very proper way with the other team members. Right, so this is how actually the other schemes and all actually they work in the industry, real-time industry. Alright, so schemes, you have seen the different schemes and all actually. I'll just go back to the previous slide. So let's say this one. Now what are the different types of frames are there and all actually. You can see that over here, different types of the trusses. Sometimes there would be the space frame trusses are here. Here also you can see that on the airport and so many places you might have seen that kind of things. So these kind of, it's a real-time projects actually. So if you are dealing only with this is single story. This is multi-story. Sometimes there is a cross bracing, and this cross bracing will be sitting here. So let's say for example over here, what I'll do is I'll put let's say the pin support here, pin support here, pin support here, and pin support here. So this structure is structure 1, and since it's a support or maybe fixed support or pin support, depending upon that I'll get the vertical force, this force, and maybe if it is moment and all. And for this column I will apply the forces and I will design this column. Alright, so a very big project, you are trying to knock it down to a small areas and try to figure it out how to deal with this, right? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this particular session. If you really enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up. If you really loved it, please subscribe the channel. One more thing I wanted to tell you, that these sessions, if you really want to enroll your college, if you are not enrolled it, please get it sure that you are getting enrolled. There is no charge if anybody is giving that, somebody is charging for that and all. We do not do that. This is basically the awareness, and we wanted to spread out the knowledge across the civil engineers so that our Indian structures are designed and constructed properly. I want to tell you why it has it has been started long time back. When I was there in Mumbai, one of the person, actually it was the last train, like 1:30 midnight, actually somebody was driving. We were going and somebody was sitting in front of me. He was completely drunken fellow, and I still remember that he used to started he has started the blabbering, saying something during that incident, and he called me also, please sit, because it was the last train, but the number of people were there very less in Mumbai. It was a tie coat and very polished person actually, and he told me one thing actually during that time, that इधर फुटपाथ पे जूता जो है वो पॉलिश करना, लेकिन कॉल सेंटर का जॉब नहीं करना. Actually, I really got exclaimed. I was getting almost not less than 50,000-80,000 rupees a month salary, and that kind of suicidal thoughts, frustrated thoughts. And I got tears in my eyes when I understood that he was a civil engineer. Right? So, if you are landing into the non-engineering fields, you might get a good salary, but the job satisfaction is not available in the supermarket. Right? Many people we have interviewed in NIT, IITs few days back. We are taking it for certain internships and all. Many people are trying to go for AI, machine learning and all. You might get a good salary. I'm not saying that. I bless you for that. But is the job satisfaction available there? And after earning a lot of money, what would be the situation? Think about it. There is a lot of requirement in the civil engineering is also there. I wanted to show you that also. If you see this, there is a huge amount of requirement is there in civil engineering research areas. Those who are doing MTech, or those who are trying to go for PhD, these are the topics. Please note it down, and please make sure that it really requires in our country at least. IS code for BIM technology. It's not available in India. It's available in it has started. That kind of awareness is started in other areas. COBE standards, many other standards actually it has started. Okay. The second one is disaster management. Too much of flood is there, Kerala, many other areas, and there is no water. Too much of water and no water. So we really need to do water engineering, water hydraulics. Which subject it is? Civil engineering. A lot of scope is there. People are not going there. Alright, another is, let's say, IS code for temporary structure. That is also definitely required in our country. Why? Because immediately after construction of the slab, many structures are getting collapsed because of the improper temporary structural engineering. That is not happening. Soil structure interaction is also one of the area. There is no codal guideline for that. That is also required. Fifth area is construction waste management through the automation and the software. This is the most important area. In the construction waste, I'll tell you, if I'm not wrong, in Delhi only 9 trillion tons of construction debris are getting generated every year only in Delhi city. 9 trillion tons. Where are you going to dump it? Let's say in India the life of structure is 30 years. If I don't know if I told you, but one of my friend, actually she was studying in UK. She was living in the building which was 300 to 350 years old building. She was living in that apartment and she said, Sandeep, it was just like new. I got the goosebumps in the entire body. Here it is 30 years, is such an old building, and we are dealing with how many rupees per square foot here. It is something like you are asking what is the rate of construction per square foot of Taj Mahal, or maybe Madurai temple or Meenakshi temple. That construction is also done by Indians, right? So where are we heading? The construction waste is also one of the areas. Otherwise, there will not be any lake. Most of the lakes in Bangalore or many places, actually it has gone. It has filled up with the construction waste. Let's say, for example, within 30 years, if you want to demolish the Mumbai city and if you want to reconstruct it, it is going to happen. Within 30 years, where the hell you are going to dump it? So see from that angle, try to find it out, try to give the real solution to the industry, you will become the unstoppable. Let me tell you straight. Sustainable designs and construction, alternative to the steel, concrete and all, bamboo structures. There is a code requirement for that also. Affordable housing. I wanted to tell you one thing. One small exercise I wanted to tell each one of you. You just go to your college administrative department and try to get the phone numbers of last 10 years of your alumni students, last 10 years or maybe 15 years, and you create an Excel sheet. You can share with us, we can talk, we can do a proper survey, legitimate, proper, genuine survey. What is the survey is, how many people are living in their own houses, not in rental houses, not in PG, their own houses. Why I wanted to do this? Because there is a lot of requirement in the industry. Nobody wanted to live in the rental apartments, right? Everybody want to have their own houses. Am I right? Yes or no? Yeah. So similarly, there is a requirement, but we are not able to tap that requirement. Why? Because there is a lot of, the salary 50,000 hai, or the cost of the house is in crores. It's not possible. It's not possible for employer also to give that much amount of salary. So there is a mismatch. So can we increase the salary? It is not that easy. What we can do is we can reduce the cost of the structure by using this kind of bamboo structures. Definitely it is possible. Alright? But there is no code. Timber structures and all. In foreign industry only there is a requirement. The codal and many other things are there. In India, I'm not saying there is absolutely no code, but the kind of IS 456, IS 800 and many other things are designed, that kind of approach is not available in this kind of structures. So that's why the affordable housing, this is another area. If you see trillion megawatt, if you see the Indian map, actually this kind of energy generation, it is definitely possible. So let's say this is peninsula, the Indian subcontinental. There is a seashore here, there is a seashore here. There is a water coming here, again going there. Again coming here, again going there. Yes? So we can have certain turbine system or something to generate the water, generate the electricity. Trillion megawatt ton. That much amount of energy generation is definitely possible. You just go to the seashore, anywhere. Generally, let's say half a kilometer, 1 kilometer, if you go inside, you will see that a lot of waves are going and coming. If you put a certain turbines going in this day, I'm sure that this can be done. Ninth one is affordable, sustainable transport system. To the India and to the world. If you see the aircraft is not sustainable. In Mumbai, every 2 minutes there is an aircraft which is either landing or taking off. You know that? That much amount of oxygen, if you are burning at such a high height, where the hell actually your carbon depletion or maybe ozone depletion layers and all, it is not, it is impossible. You are taking aircraft to that height anyway, right? Above the clouds, like walk in the clouds. Huh? So we really need to think about certain alternative. It is really going to hamper a lot, basically. 20 years back, you can go to the sun easily, there is no problem. But nowadays, your skins will get burnt out, you will have a lot of skin allergies, cancer, don't know what not things will start, and it will. So we really need certain alternative areas where you can develop the transport system, natural cooling system. Let's say, for example, in the throat, you matke ka pani, the earthen pot, if you are drinking the water, it's easy and it's very good for your throat. But if you take the fridge water, it's not healthy. So that's the difference between natural and the artificial AC system. AC is the air conditioning. So we can create certain natural cooling systems so that the house will be naturally cool, or naturally it will be warm. How it is possible? There are many. We have also conducted certain researches in our research in our company. Somehow it has, we didn't get a lot of time to put a lot of man hours in those areas. But anyway, if you guys are ready, we are, always ready. So next one is air pollution. It's a time bomb. Do you know that air pollution, actually every vehicle, every aeroplane, whatever is there, is a time bomb. You take Bangalore city is number 2. Delhi is number 1. The most air polluted city. And whenever that air emission and problems are there, that time the political parties will start fighting. Energy generation through the waste management. This is also one of the very important. So much of population is there, a lot of energy can be, Bangalore city, IT, Silicon City we call it as in India. Thousands of, companies, IT cities are there. Here also we are facing a lot of, electricity problems. When I was there in Dubai for 6 years, only 20 seconds the light has gone, that to 2 o'clock midnight. Do you know that? And next day, actually, the apology letter came from DEWA Authority, the Dubai Electrical and Water Resources Authority. If you take the Dubai, the footprint area, it is, I'm not sure that it is not even more bigger than Bangalore city. But, that's why the space, the area, it doesn't matter. What do you do in that space, it really matters. Whatever the China is doing, expansion, it doesn't matter at all. What you can check the example of this Korea, Japan, third, fourth largest economy in the world. What is the area? Not even, you take Maharashtra, that much area only. So area doesn't matter. Always remember this. So many people, they acquire more land. It doesn't matter. How much you are doing in the small area, it matters. Understood? Another thing is application of BIM technology in traffic control and disaster management. Lot of traffic areas problems are there. Every city, thank God, Corona, because of that, traffic at least came down. Traffic problem has little bit came down. And now it has again gone up. Disaster management. Kerala, you can see every alternate year or 2-3 years there is a flood. You go to Brahmaputra, that area, actually there is every year there is a flood. Too much of water. Disaster management do not have any records. GIS technology, the 14th one is GIS technology. Okay, the ultimate solution for Indian revenue and the land record issues. When I was there in Dubai, I would like to tell you one thing. If this plot is there, this is the plot. The GPS coordinates were given. In India, if you want to do the government survey, you need to call this guy, you need to call this guy, you need to call this guy, you need to call this guy. All guys you need to call. This guy will say, no, this is not the line, this is the line. This guy will say, this is not the line, this is the line. Then they will start fighting with each other. What the hell is going on? We are having ISRO, we are having the finest people in India which are doing a lot of coding across the world. And we cannot set this right. It's a shame on us, right? We require this. GIS entire India map. We do not have proper maps. For revenue records, we require the entire Bangalore. How many records are there? Every taluk place, every city, every particular small areas, where is the land record? This particular land is, who is the owner? We don't know that. And we really need to have that. Otherwise, this kind of half of the life will go in the fighting only. Every house there is a smaller version of Mahabharata, you know that? Legal fight between the brothers, cousin brothers, neighbors. This is the solution. 15th is actually ultimate job creation mechanism. Civil engineering is only the ultimate job making mechanism. If you really want to revamp the the technology, many other things, civil engineering is only the tool that will happen. Alright? If these 14 things happens actually, I'll tell you the civil engineers will be pre-booked. You know pre-booking? You have taken the first year engineering, say after you complete your engineering, please join our company, okay? I'll pay you the salary right from today. Once you pass out, it will increase. That will happen. If you want that to happen, actually, we are launching certain things actually. Please be in touch with us. Please be in contact with us. We are going ahead in a very big, massive, we are putting a lot of energy, we are putting certain resources also, and I'm sure that certain change we wanting to do in this particular area. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this session, and thank you very much for this particular time. Thank you. Bye-bye.